The owner of this home is the one that called 911, but firefighters were never prepared for what they found inside. The FBI and police raided her home. They came armed with a search warrant. It's asphalt that resembles more like pieces of a puzzle than a city street. Word of this long-standing company shutting down caught many by surprise. There is no better place to take in some rays with Dad this Sunday. This is what Joe's worried about. Standing water like this turning into a thick sheet of ice. Salah Jones' aunt tells me the FBI and police raided her home. They came armed with a search warrant, looking for that rare violin and possibly a weapon used in the crime. Tonight, she's standing by her nephew, claiming he's innocent.
And they busted my door in.
This is the home where a dramatic search took place for a priceless violin Monday. Salah Jones is one of the suspects in the theft. His aunt said dozens of detectives and FBI agents tore her house apart, searching for the Stradivarius. What did they tell you they were looking for?
For a $6 million violin that it was never here, and my nephew never took that.
The woman who doesn't want us to show her on TV tells me Salah and a second suspect had 3 children together. She showed me a copy of the search warrant, and it just wasn't the violin they were looking for. They were also searching for a taser used to stun Frank Allman before the violin was snatched from his hands.
They looked everywhere and they wouldn't let me in the house. I had to sit out in the car because they said that they had this search warrant.
In the end, police left empty-handed, but they returned here Wednesday to grill the woman on where the Stradivarius could be hidden.
Yeah, take a picture.
And police asked her to provide family information and contact numbers, but that woman tonight says no one in that family knows where that violin is. We're live at the Police Administration headquarters in downtown Milwaukee. Todd Hicks, today's TMJ4. The owner of this home is the one that called 911, but firefighters were never prepared for what they found inside that helped fuel the flames.
That's all I saw was flames coming out of the garage.
These are the flames and plumes of billowing smoke Tom Weber discovered at his neighbor's home in Hales Corners.
I drove around to this side and the flames are actually coming out of by the back of the house too.
The couple who owns this home near 108th and Janesville Road called 911 after the fire started, but it's what firefighters found inside that had them calling for backup.
A large accumulation of materials that could be on the verge of hoarding.
Boxes and bags full of stuff piled on top of one another, paper and other items that turned this fire into an inferno.
At the point when we saw that we couldn't make progress on the large amount of materials stored in this house, we decided to upgrade the call. This is video shot by Chopper 4. It shows smoke so thick it could be seen for miles and at times even blocked out the sun. It's been several hours and fire crews are still here. They're worried about possible flare-ups inside this home filled top to bottom with the owner's belongings. The elderly couple escaped, but one of them was treated for burns to the face. Now investigators are starting what could be a long task of figuring out how this fire started. And you can see that fire investigators are still on the scene here, worried about possible flare-ups tonight, and I'm told it could take more than a day just to figure out exactly where this fire started inside that home. We're live in Hales Corners tonight. Todd Hicks, today's TMJ4. So there was a lot of confusion and chaos when I arrived on the scene this morning. Now imagine on one side of the street you have the SWAT team members dealing with an active shooter situation inside and outside of this salon, while on the other side of the street you have shoppers coming out of this busy mall watching this whole thing unfold in disbelief.
Somebody came in shooting, call the police.
Oren Bloom got a chilling text message from his girlfriend this morning. She was inside a Zana salon in Brookfield when a gunman opened fire. Is she in there right now? Have you had contact with her on the cell phone? Or is she texting you, or?
She just texted me the one time.
Police say this is the man who did it, Radcliffe Houghton. Sources tell us he killed his wife, Zena Houghton, and 2 other women, and 4 others were shot. Police say it's a case of domestic violence. Many of the businesses on Moreland Road shut down, including Brookfield Square Mall. Christopher Pfeiffer was across the street when he saw a woman running for her life.
She was screaming, she was yelling, she was crying, she was just absolutely hysterical.
Pfeiffer tells me the woman was barefoot, her screams so frantic it was hard to make out. Her words gave him chills.
You know, my mother's been shot, my mother's been shot, help me, and I couldn't understand her. And a few times I kept on saying, well, what did you say? What did you say? What did you say? And then finally it became clear to me.
Police issued an alert asking for help finding the gunman. Eventually, they found his body inside the spa. Radcliffe locked himself inside a room and killed himself.
Our heartfelt prayers and concerns for the victims in this matter. Our thoughts and prayers go out to them.
And a very emotional day. Now, complicating matters today for SWAT team members and law enforcement responding to the salon here. They had to deal with a small fire that they believe was started by the suspected shooter. And Charles, of course, this is a very large building. They also had to clear all of these rooms before finding out exactly what took place. A shocking scene here in quiet Greendale. This is just near Conifer and Broad, a little east of downtown Greendale. And I'm going to step out of the way so you can get a better look of the area I'm talking about. This is the area that has been taped off by police, and once again, as you had just confirmed for us, I spoke to a member of the family. They confirmed that Dennis Maciejewski had been found, his body had been found in this area. To describe the scene here, this is just near a little creek and kind of a backwoods lot of some of these large lots that are in Greendale. Now you're taking a live look from Chopper 4 with power zoom of the area. You can see that it is wooded and covered with snow. I am told that just a couple of minutes ago they did remove his body. It's not clear who led police or investigators to this area, but once again, heavy police presence here. We arrived on the scene just about 30 minutes ago, and police kind of kept us back. But once again, we did see that the medical examiner did remove the body of that 63-year-old man. He had been missing for 2 days, went missing earlier in the week after being treated for some sort of head injury, and he vanished for 2 days. Of course, a very sad scene here. Of course, we should have more information coming up on Tonight Live at 6. We're live in Greendale tonight. Todd Hicks, today's TMJ4. With the forecast expected this weekend in the 70s and 80s, there is no better place to take in some rays with Dad this Sunday than the beach, but that likely won't be the case here in North Beach in Racine. It's been closed to swimming due to high bacterial counts. Now, testing by the health department revealed those dangerous levels. You're taking a look at some video shot by Chopper 4 with power zoom this morning. Now, in addition to here at North Beach, Zoo Beach has also been closed to swimming. Of course, testing here is ongoing, and of course, that could change at any time, but this is some definitely not good news for businesses in this area, as well as the people that are heading to what could be a fun weekend. Of course, as we know, looks can be deceiving. We're live in North Beach this morning in Racine. Todd Hicks, today's TMJ4. More than 3 years after this massacre, victims and their families are still fighting for any help. It's left some like Amber Gatlin paying thousands of dollars of their own money just to get medical care.
Still to this day, I get nightmares about it.
It was this mass shooting at Fort Hood more than 3 years ago that still haunts Amber Gatlin. You may remember her by her maiden name, Amber Barr. The Random Lake soldier saved the lives of other soldiers after being shot in the back in 2009.
I pushed one out of the door and I dragged one behind me. And then there was another who was just kind of crawling on the side of us. And we got out of the building as fast as we could.
Some in Congress want to award Purple Hearts to victims like Gatlin and the soldiers who died. Officials with the Pentagon are fighting the move. They say awarding the medals would taint the case against the shooter, Major Nadel Hassan.
This is a matter that's pending before a court. I'm simply not going to get into it.
The massacre has been classified as a workplace shooting and not a terrorist act by the federal government. They say changing the classification could jeopardize their case against Hassan by denying him a fair trial.
Workplace violence is a disgruntled employee, not a fellow soldier in a U.S. uniform opening fire on his own battle buddies.
After nearly 2 years of fighting, Gatlin says the VA has started to pay some of her medical bills. She said the Purple Heart is more than just a medal. If you got the Purple Heart, what would change?
A lot of things. The medical care. I wouldn't have to pay for any of my medical care or my prescriptions.
Those bills have taken a toll on her family and her bank account as she tries to erase the memory of that horrific day.
It's always in the back of my head, just the fact that it could happen again anytime, anywhere.
And despite not getting a Purple Heart or their full medical benefits paid for, Amber Gadlin has been subpoenaed to testify in Hassan's trial. In the newsroom, Todd Hicks, today's TMJ4. Home Service Guys is backtracking after we started investigating a shocking credit card bill. Now they've given a couple a complete refund after just 1 week.
The HVAC duct cleaners gave us a full refund, including the actual service as well.
Nick Hardrath is talking about Home Service Guys. It all started after the Shortwood man and his fiancee bought a Groupon for air duct cleaning. When the vendor based out of Indiana showed up, they said it would cost $105 more to finish the job. But when the credit card bill came, instead of $105, it was for $1,050.
I was horrified. I mean, $945 is a lot of money.
After we got involved, Groupon refunded the cost of the voucher and then some.
They reached out and said that they would even give us a $50 voucher towards a future Groupon.
But Home Service Guys wouldn't budge, claiming the bill was correct. That changed when today's TMJ4 started making calls, including to the couple's credit card company, Capital One.
It was almost 2 months, 8 weeks of going back and forth, and then within about a week or so of the story coming out, everybody was willing to work with us.
$1,149 refunded. Nick and Heidi are thrilled, but they have some important advice so no one else goes through a similar disaster.
I think that we didn't know as much about the companies we probably should have.
And that means doing a lot of research before you click buy. In the newsroom, Todd Hicks, today's TMJ4.